Hey-bundle-baybuh. I saved a picture of your friend that you used, Haley or whatever her name is, that goth chick. You got a nice forward butt cleavage shot. Imagine her doing the left cheek, right cheek on my dick, as well as, moving her hips front and back and circle. I'll just hold my dick out and she can, quote unquote, clap them on it. Both lubed up and dry. Butt dog, none of that fag shit. She got a decent ass. It's all tatted up and all that shit, And then I went to that bikini, shop that she's advertising. Every single model is tatted up garbage. So I'll check more of that out later for due thoroughness. As well as your friend, because she might have more stuff, some decent shots. She got a lot, where she's in her bikini thong. It's not proper cut or anything, but it could be. So, give her my name and number and have her drop me a line, or I'll drop her a line, or whatever. I don't know if she's someone you know or just someone you use. She might be in some different state or whatever, but I'm willing to travel. You should do something like that. Oh, shit. I had a dream about you, Bundle Baby, last night. Probably because of, your friend there, and then you, and then just whatever. You owned an ice arena. And I'm not sure if you changed it into something else. You may have been wanting to sell it, I'm not sure, but it was weird. Because I've seen you, I think, well, maybe I haven't. Maybe I have. Yeah, you went skating and there was that one girl. I think it was a decent shot. She was a figure skater. Plus, I've said that before because you're from Canada. We'll go ice skating or something. Anyway. Kaydee-Bug. Damn, girl. Shit. Was I right? Did you have childhood, issues? It's almost what it made it seem like. Fatty McFat fuck. I mean, that might be no joke. It might be something, that's like mean, where you were neglected, or maybe you had a sibling, who was everything, they touched or did turn to gold, and everything you did was a disappointment. Or it could be something serious. It could have been physical or sexual abuse, I mean, not that mental neglect is, something to scoff at. But, for some reason I got in my mind that you have a sister. Because you had said, blah, blah, blah. A long time ago you were in a tree. With your nieces. But, anyway, your sister has her period and mom takes her out for ice cream. You have your period. She's mad at you for ruining your, Anyway, I don't know. That girl's such a scallywag. I don't know. But all that other shit, it's funny because it eventually happened, talking about, the sirens in the background, fire truck, garbage truck, people arguing, bitch, you better have my money. Airplanes, you know. And then you're out there on the balcony, you know. And Fatty McFatfuck, you know, bless her fat fuck heart, you know, is trying to smooth over things, you know. Never mind the airplane, they're on their own journey. Never mind the dog barking and the people talking. Get a fucking job! The ambiance of your, you know, habitat. Shit. The warm glow of the buzzing street light right outside your window. The, you know, neon sign that won't stay lit. You know, it's flashing in the tattoo parlor. And the tavern, you know, you frequently, you know, fall asleep to the sound of sirens, you know, arriving and blue and red flashing lights, you know, due to the rowdiness that got a little too rowdy at the old bar there with the low lights. So, anyway, you laughing at the end, you know, that's, you know, it is what it is, you know, it's an emotional release. But, you know, it's like, shit, she's having a meltdown. And a little tear there or whatever at the end, you know, of release, you know, joy, oh, whatever, not necessarily joy, but, you know, that's legit, you know, like your breathing and stuff, you know, that's not you're just recording it and posting it as ASMR, but that's like, you know, you poor little lamb. And I guess you weren't expecting her to throw in that marriage thing. So whatever you're going through, I don't know. I had said, you know, maybe it's some work-related stuff or family or friends, health, job, you know, who knows? You know, maybe your family. You know, like I said, oh, that Katie, you know, she just doesn't take anything serious, you know. Just wants to float through life and blah, 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 doing these ASMR videos. And she's not married and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Apparently she wants to be that girl, you know, and you're not, you don't even have a career, you know, you're just like a receptionist, you know. uh, not that there's anything wrong with that. And there isn't, if truth be known. It's just the world will judge you. Okay. But, anyway. You got friends and whatever who care about you and love you, you know. Probably. You got good friends, I guess. Fatty McFatfuck, you know. That's me just being a piece of shit. But that's the world, you know. And I ain't scared of the bad vibes or the karma. You'll just have to trust me when I say those rules don't apply to me. I will talk mad shit and feel not a fucking thing. Alright? I don't owe you nothing. Or anybody else. So, I'm not scared of the big bad karma, you know, wolf. Not at all. I will eat that son bitch for breakfast. But, anyway. But I still do. Actually, I shouldn't say that. You know, there are things. There's kind of rules. You know, so I don't know. Maybe in your case, seeing as you know I exist and you're a secret fan and all that, and you know, whatever. You know, the whole troll thing and my harem of hoes and me talking about you, making you my future wife and all that, and you're probably like, sure, why not? You know, and, what I don't know what the hell, what's going on through your. But because me, I'm not emotional, you know, at all. Like I said, I've said before, it's a good thing I'm a good guy because I can be the most cold, emotionless, calculating bastard, in the world. But I do have morals and stuff. But it's like I could switch them off, if I needed to. Well, I would never do anything that was against, other than being a jerk, like Fatty McFat fuck. But like I said, I would never treat her like that in person. Because, I'm a coward and all that and blah, 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 blah. But, the situation, each situation is different, and it just is what it is. I'm not a jerk. I'm not that guy. So. You want to know a person's true colors, mama? Because one of the things is fluster them, but another thing is how they act on the internet. Well, I'm special. The rules don't really apply to me. I'm just visiting, Jerkville. Oh. Yeah. So. Anyway. But yeah, I feel for you, girly girl. You're going through some shit. You had said, it's a pattern with you. And you always kind of look at the camera every now and then, like, because of the whole YouTube thing, like you've got a real connection with your fans. And like I said, I don't read the comments. Maybe you do. In fact, you probably do because people are such, little bitch puffs. I don't know if your fan base is mostly male or female, what the age is, where they live, if you can keep track of that or whatever. I'm curious. I'll read them now. And they probably make you feel real good. Okay, do this, that, and the other, and it's like, it's shallow horse shit, But, go ahead, say it. I'm a shallow girl. Maybe, probably, yeah. Like I said, well, it turns out all this, it would appear that I have judged you fairly accurately. You know what I mean? But this is in my defense, or whatever, to my credit. This is before all that shit. I could just tell by, just because I'm good at judging people, lest you not. For the same measure you use. And then it's like, oh, wow, yeah, she is damaged goods. Is that a fire truck in the background? Is that a garbage truck? Are those people arguing outside? Shit. Fatty McFat fuck, the ambience of the city, listen to the birds. You piece of fucking shit, the ambiance of the city. Chirp, chirp. God damn. Fuck. Oh. But anyway, all I hear out of my place is the wind blowing and birds. At night I hear crickets. Oh yeah, the car horns. Shit, like every now and then, shit. Oh, I'm laughing at you. Sucks to be you. Oh man. Poor little lamb. Anyway, gosh, So, it turns out, it's like, how's a girl like that not married? It's like, I don't know, maybe you get too attached, and the guy's like, whoa, okay, appreciate the sex and the lovey-dovey, and, I just can't have this for the rest of my life, or whatever. And I don't know, do you get like intense, Steven, like it's like you really get too attached, And a guy like me could handle that, I'd rein you in and calm you down. But not enough to like make you feel stupid or like a child. It's hard to put into words, and especially with your, neglect or whatever you went through that kind of fucked you up. Plus, you just might naturally be wired that way. It's like a 1-2 punch, maybe that's why it happened in the first place. Whatever happened, I don't know. Like I said, it might be something serious. It might be something, fairly petty, like your mom was a bitch, and your dad either wasn't there or was just like, okay, your mother can be kind of difficult sometimes. Trust me, I know. I married her. Just do what I do and just block it out, just ignore her. And he just let her run and develop into the monster that she is, or maybe not monster, but pain in the ass. But you didn't have the ability to help yourself. You had nobody to help you help yourself and kind of guide you and whatnot. So you turned into this neurotic, needy, clingy, beautiful, gorgeous, just amazing woman who's not married and cries when she looks at fake stars. So interesting stuff. Oh yeah, and you live in the asshole of Chicago. And, maybe you don't actually live like in the slums, but your little balcony there. What is that, like 4x5 foot? Shit. Or, Fatty McFat fuck. So, and when you blow on the little windmill, that was so pitiful. And you kind of laugh, because you're kind of in the moment, you're kind of emotionally teetering, You could go either direction, but fortunately, you're in good hands. Fatty McFat fuck is kind of running the show. But she's quarterbacking that shit. I remember doing that when I was a kid. We'd be playing football and somebody would be playing quarterback, and I remember doing this. You'd be spoofing, and you'd go to throw the ball and like roll it out of your hand so it actually falls backwards. Whoops. We used to do shit like that when we were kids. We'd like physical. We'd have pickup football games in the park. You'd go home with bruises, and somebody'd usually get a bloody nose or something. Used to play Smear the Queer. You couldn't call it that these days, but yeah. Anyway, so if you were in the mood to spoof, that's just whatever. Go long, you just throw it straight up in the air. Just whatever, Yeah. And then you'd catch it and just run it in yourself, But, and I was a pretty athletic kid, I was, like, no matter what it was, I was the best at it. I could run the fastest, do the most pull-ups, most push-ups, this, that, and the other. Even me as a kid. Now, when I was a kid, I was like a skinny little shit. And then I kind of beefed up. And then, kind of slimmed down, so I kind of vacuum packed a little bit, so I kind of looked like Goodwill Hunting. I kind of had that physique. Probably a little bit more puffier and lumpier. And now, like I said, I'm wanting to, bulk up and do that beefcake shit, look like a gladiator or something. But I kind of look like, Tank Abbott, that old UFC fighter back when he was kind of a chunk. But but I'd like to, kind of mold that a little bit and kind of bulk up, and be the dude. Because fat doesn't, move, right? It doesn't ripple, right? So, I'm like a fairly big dude, but you could actually kind of still at this point mistake me for just being a big guy. But I want to make it, blatantly obvious that even, in a baggy shirt, people would be like, yeah, that guy lifts. Or whatever. So, anyway. Yeah, didn't you say that like 6 months ago? Or like, was it 12 months ago? Did you say that? It may have been. But, anyway. And like I said, I'd like to, maintain. I'll never have a six pack, but I want to maintain like a nice, like, I don't know, 10, 15 pounds, quote unquote, overweight. That way I've got extra fuel in the tank for those muscles. Get to eat more. Muscles need fuel. So, anyway. So, good. Good like wood, said the termite to the flea, and the flea said, motherfucker, we discussed this. So anyway, 22 minutes. Sweet, sweet Kaydee-Bug. Kaydee-Boo. It's too bad I'm just a troll. Otherwise, I'd, leave a comment, on your YouTube channel. I'd make one. I'd be like, hey, come check me out. I need a hero. Someone who's strong and smart. I need a hero. Someone who's tall and dark and handsome. I need a hero. Someone to rescue me, or whatever, like that song or whatever, So. I mean, it sounds like you need everything. But a hero would be included in that. So, because when Fatty McFat fuck that land pig, Landwell, human pig that you're friends with. She, she said that, and you were just, ooh, and again, you look at the camera, like, ooh, that's your online fan. You're so pathetic. I mean, oh, you've got such a kind heart. Anyway, and then there's me, and I'm not just saying that, to be, fuck your fans. Fuck you. If I had a YouTube channel, I would. I'd be like, fuck you, motherfuckers. Like I give a shit about you pieces of dog shit. So, my ASMR videos will be 5 minutes long, and I'd post one a week at best. So, anyway, I'm thinking about you. God, you're just all kinds of amazing. Your hair, just everything about you. And like I said, you would look good on the end of my dick. You would not only look good in my arms, cuddling and all that stuff. But, woo,